Hey guys, it's Jane. It's Friday and I'm back for Friday Reads. I didn't manage to do this last week. Life has just been tremendous. Tremendous. Let's go with that. It's just been tremendous and it's been continuing tremendous. This morning when I was in the shower, the water literally cut off while I was in the middle of shampooing my hair, and so I've still got kind of like goo in my hair because the mains is out, and we're trying to work that out. But anyway, I can't resolve that, so I'm just filming anyway, despite how tremendous life has been. I haven't read a huge amount since I last spoke to you all, so I can run through that fairly quickly. I finished Emma Bull et al.'s Shadow Unit, the first one, and I loved it. I'm going back for more as soon as I can clear my current queue. It's this imagined television show, and there are episodes of the show sort of narrated in the books, and it's a sort of paranormal FBI agency, and yeah, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed that, and I'm so excited by the fact that there are, I don't know, a dozen more volumes of this for me to read. Very, very cool. The next thing I picked up after that was Sixguntaro by R.S. Belcher. I DNF'd this one, my first DNF for the year. I got about a third of the way through and I realised I was not going to be finishing it because some of the thematic concerns of the book just wasn't sitting well with me. It may not be anything that worries anybody else, but basically one of the major themes that I could see coming out was that, you know, the God of the universe, the God of the Bible is an evil son of a bitch. And I just decided that, you know, I gave it a little bit of a chance because I thought, because sometimes people introduce ideas like that and then they're going to switch around on them, or they're just a passing mention and they're not circling back to it. But it really seemed to me like this was something that was going to become an overriding theme, and I didn't want that in my head, especially given the kind of week that I've been having at the time. So yeah, not finishing that one, not going to be continuing with the series, just not for me. After that, I picked up Xavier Herbert's Capricornia, and I'm actually still reading Capricornia. This is quite a lengthy book. I experienced something that had never happened to me before. I do a lot of my reading through Overdrive borrows from my library, and I'm set up to have a 14-day borrowing period. That's usually, you know, easily enough. Even, you know, it takes a couple of days for me to get around to the book because I borrow it out when I'm just, you know, in the middle of the one before and whatever, because, you know, you never want to be stuck with nothing to read. You know, that's the worst. Anyway, so after I finished feeding the baby at about 4 o'clock this morning and put him back to bed, and of course I'm wide awake because sometimes that's what happens. You know, you finally get the baby to sleep and then realize that it's going to take you a little while to wind down to get back to sleep because you're wide awake. I turned on my e-reader to read a bit more of Capricornia, and I got a little message flashed up saying that, you know, I was no longer able to access it because my 14 days had run out. So this has never happened to me. So I was 3/4 of the way through. As I said, it's quite a long book. He has a bit of a reputation as a long-winded author. In fact, one of his later books, Poor Fellow My Country, is in the running for the longest English novel ever published in a single volume. But yes, Capricornia, which I'm reading, it's only 700 odd pages long, but it's also not a super quick read. So anyway, I was 3/4 of the way through, but yeah, this morning I thought about it, and there's no way I don't want to finish it. So I rather than going back to the library and re-borrowing it, I have bought my own copy. So I won't have that problem again with this book. It's actually a really good read. It's all about racism. Like, it's all about racism in Australia, but it's not just about racism. The characters are really lively and there's lots of stuff that's going on. I'm surprised that more people don't read this, as a sort of an Australian classic. It's much, much more readable and enjoyable than many other Australian classics that I've read in my life. So if anybody who is interested at all by all this rambling that I've done, please go ahead and pick it up. The only other thing that I've read this past week is I read a short story on Tor.com called Extracurricular Activities. It is by Yoon Ha Lee, and who's the author of Nine Fox Gambit, which is one of the books that I nominated for Best Novel for 2016, the BookTube SFF Awards, the shortlist for which are going to be announced on Sunday US time, Monday. Even if you didn't nominate, you might want to go and have a look at what the shortlists are, and join in the read-alongs and stuff that are going to be coming along. Anyway, I digress. Just this past week, this short story by Yoon Ha Lee, which is in the world of Nine Fox Gambit. It's actually a prequel in a way. It's a little story about something that happened in the life of the general who is in Nine Fox Gambit, is, many centuries dead, but, encapsulated in this sort of crystal or something so that he can be installed in somebody's head, which is what happens in Nine Fox Gambit. Anyway, this is a story about him as a young officer. And that was very enjoyable, and it's on Tor.com, and you can just go and have a look there. Once I finish Capricornia, I am either going to go back for Shadow Unit Book 2, which is pretty tempting, or I'm going to read the next Max Gladstone. Just in the last week or two, the price on all of the craft sequence books has dropped markedly. I went to get the next one 6 months ago or something, and it was like, I don't know, it was nearly $30 is my recollection, and I wasn't going to pay that price, but they're now down to like $3 something, so I was like, yeah, totally. I bought the two that I haven't read. There's another one coming out fairly soon, so I want to catch them up. Two that I bought were Last First Snow and the fifth one, which is Four Roads Crossing. So I'm not sure. We'll see. I'll either read one or two of those, or I'll go back to Shadow Unit, and both of those sound like really good options to me. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I'd love to hear what you guys have been up to. I hope you're well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!